It has been now 1 year since the start of the operation to liberate the Syrian city of Raqqa from ISIL. But the actual human cost of the operation does remain far from clear. According to the US-led coalition, the number of civilians killed in the battle for Raqqa will never be known.
As far as how do we know how many civilians were killed, I'm just being honest, no one will ever know. Anyone who claims they will know is lying.
It comes as Amnesty International releases a report that accuses the US-led coalition of relentless air and artillery strikes. Now, RT's Ilya Petrenko now reports.
Getting to the bottom of what was really happening in Raqqa as the Americans and allies were freeing it. Who will be bothered to do that, or it'll take ages? The pros of war behind these walls may have thought, but scrutiny was inevitable.
Coalition claims that its precision air campaigns allowed it to bomb Islamic State out of Raqqa while causing very few civilian casualties do not stand up to scrutiny based on information from Amnesty International's field investigation and public reporting. Coalition air and artillery strikes killed hundreds of civilians and injured many more.
Open Amnesty's report and you'll find words like disproportionate, indiscriminate bombing, the use of white phosphorus, claims which could turn into a reputational disaster if proven, things that amount to war crimes. The US-led coalition mission to free Raqqa went on for more than 4 months, from June 6th to October 12th last year, and the Pentagon proudly told the world they'd fired 35,000 artillery rounds while they were at it.
They fired more rounds in Raqqa, Syria than any other Marine artillery battalion or any Marine or Army battalion since the Vietnam War.
Yet we kept hearing from those whose orders matter how cautious they were.
There has been no military in the world's history that has paid more attention to limiting civilian casualties and the deaths of innocents on the battlefield than the coalition military. We're not the perfect guys. We can make a mistake, and in this kind of warfare, tragedies will happen. But we are the good guys, and the innocent people on a battlefield know the difference.
You can't help wondering how many innocent locals General Mattis has actually met. I'm sure you can find many of those who are genuinely grateful to the coalition for kicking ISIL out. But just compare his words to some of the witness accounts our team heard while in Raqqa.
We were directly targeted by the coalition after their reconnaissance craft filmed us. It was at a low altitude. It was very clear there were no terrorists in the area, but there were kids playing in the streets and we were collecting water.
The aircraft bomb using phosphorus. It targets everyone. It is not hidden ISIL. The coalition is bombing randomly. If you're sitting at home, a bomb may come down on you. There are houses that collapsed on their residents, and they could not get out. All this happened because of the aircraft.
A warplane comes and strikes, for instance, a 5-story building. ISIL would be on the 2nd floor, while civilians are on the 3rd and 4th floors. How comes the plane still strikes then? More civilians died than ISIL terrorists.
And we weren't alone in hearing those worrying calls from that devastated Syrian city. Humanitarian groups on high alert had many more horrors to share with us and the rest of the world.
There are worries about how this operation will affect civilians. We're concerned about the safety and protection of more than 400,000 people in Raqqa as these operations commence.
2 strikes that we investigated, as well as some of the other strikes we report on, these casualty figures would not have appeared in coalition reporting. So, yes, we believe that the actual number being reported by the coalition underreports it.
If you thought any of that led to a change of tactics by the coalition, or at least an apology, I'll have to tell you they shielded themselves from scrutiny with monthly casualty reports. We've been largely focusing on the fate of Raqqa civilians in our coverage, and Amnesty International's now weighed in with some serious work. It could be high time we hear something new from the U.S. pros of war.